think springtime, you're thinking of everyone getting back outside for hikes, sports, and treasure hunts. And if you're going to go looking for ancient treasure that belongs in a museum, you have to look the part. Adam Zurn, Uncharted Lancaster, thanks so much for coming in. We really appreciate it. And he's here to tell us a little bit more about those treasure hunts. Yes, they're real. But first, you're a huge supporter of local history. How did Uncharted Lancaster come to be?
So I grew up in the 80s and loved watching those adventure films of the time, Raiders of the Lost Ark and the Goonies. And as a child, I always wanted to have an adventure similar to the adventures that you're seeing these heroes have. And as you grow up, you realize that's a bit of a fantasy. But thanks to the internet and 3D printing and laser cutters, I realized I could create adventures like that for people to participate in. So Uncharted Lancaster is a little bit like the movie National Treasure meets local history. And from there it's grown. There's a lot of free scavenger hunts that people can go on. At the end there's 3D printed plastic tokens and trinkets for people to find. But every year I run a real life treasure hunt with real money on the line for people to find.
This is the 4th year you've done this. What have you learned and how much fun have you had in the previous 3?
Well, I've learned a lot over the years doing this. Every year gets a little more complicated and detailed, and I enjoy doing it because that's the biggest reason I do it, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of hearing people say how much fun they had. Last year had a 3-generation family working on it, so grandparents, parents, grandkids, everyone out there together creating memories. I got emails and messages from people after the contest saying, we don't know what we're going to do next weekend because this has been our life for 5 weeks doing this treasure hunt. So that makes me feel great and encourages me to just keep doing it.
All right, so what is the Raiders of the Golden Osprey?
Well, believe it or not, like all great adventure stories, this has some history in reality. So I came across a story a few years ago that Phoenicians fleeing Carthage in 300 BC fled to North America. They were trying to get to a colony they supposedly had in what is today New Hampshire. Got blown off course, entered the Chesapeake, headed up the Susquehanna until where they settled in this general area. Fast forward to the early 1940s, and 2 gentlemen, one a PhD geologist by the name of Dr. William Strong, and a school teacher, Philip List, find 400 curiously carved stones. They, along with a local university, determined that these markings might in fact be Phoenician. And this kind of becomes the jumping off point for a very Indiana Jones-esque story. The part that I add is that they were in fact looking for this Golden Osprey. This is what they brought with them, the Phoenicians, and what this Dr. Strong is looking for and documenting here in his treasure diary that people will be using to help find this treasure.
Okay, and so people obviously going to be intrigued by this. So what all is entailed in a treasure hunt?
They need to do a couple things. Go to unchartedlancaster.com, register their team, and of course purchase their treasure diary. And then starting Saturday, April 6th at 9:30, I'll be releasing a weekly set of clues that has basically 3 main components. First is a diary challenge. So they need to use this diary to sleuth out an answer. From there, there's a local history challenge, and they'll be using some local history knowledge and their good friend Google to ultimately sleuth the answer. And then finally it ends with like an exploration component where they're visiting a local park or a nature preserve to find that last piece. And they'll do that each week until the last week, May 4th, when it's sort of a mad world race to who can get to the treasure first and claim the prize money.
It's a lot of fun, but it also goes for a good cause. You know, who does this benefit here?
Absolutely. So every penny of the $19.99 in the treasure diary purchase is going to one of 2 local nonprofits. First, the Historic Preservation Trust of Lancaster County, and they advocate and educate for the preservation of architecturally and historically significant buildings. And then Lancaster History, which is sort of the gatekeepers and clearinghouse of all of the history for Lancaster County. So depending on where you buy the diary, the money will go to those 2 nonprofits.
Okay, and if they want to find out more information, where can they go?
You should go to my website, unchartedlancaster.com. Lots of information, how to get started. If they just want to cut their teeth, there's 2 side quests for the treasure hunt already available. They don't reveal the GPS coordinates for the treasure, but they can kind of get a feel for the treasure hunt just by kind of poking around on my website. They can unlock those.
Okay, Adam Zurn, thank you so much for coming in today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.